Easy, hard, raps, rhymes, mixes, and drops. We'll give you kick-ass music because we're WPSC 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio. Sound good?
Well, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you. And yes, if you can hear my voice, that means you're listening to another edition of The Reading Circle with your host, Marc Medley. We come to you live each Saturday morning from 6 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock a.m., giving you the best of what's going on in the literary world. So again, if you can hear my voice, good morning to you. Hopefully you are tuned in on either gobrave.org or in the northern New Jersey on WP 88.7 FM. We're going to go ahead with our usual ritual and routine. And those of you who've been listening for any amount of time, you know what that is. I'm going to give you the weather. I'm going to read from two different books. I'm going to introduce my guests, and then our interview will be underway. So don't you dare move. Let somebody know that the Reading Circle is indeed on the air this morning on gobrave.org and WP 88.7 FM. Well, as I said, here's the weather. Right now in the Wayne, New Jersey area, 67 degrees. We can expect over the next few days. Sunny today, partly cloudy, a stray shower here and there, thunderstorms possible, 20% chance of rain tonight. Again, a stray shower, still at 20% chance of rain. We're going to have a high of 92 and a low of 66. And then tomorrow on Sunday, except for a few afternoon clouds, it's going to be mainly sunny. 93 as a high, 68 as a low, some clouds early Sunday night. On Monday, sunny along with a few afternoon clouds, high of near 95, low of 68. Expect some scattered thunderstorms Monday night. 40% chance of rain then, and then on Tuesday, 50% chance of rain, partial cloudiness early with scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high of 93, low of 66. And then rounding out our forecast on Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny, high of 91, low of 68. Mainly clear early Wednesday night. Then a few clouds later on. As I said, we're going to drop to a low of 68. That is the weather brought to you right here from the WP 88.7 FM Weather Center. So equip yourself accordingly. Well, as you know, I read from two different books as we kick off the show because it just gives a positive flow for the rest of the morning. So I've been doing that for some years now, and I don't change that practice because the rest of the morning just flows so smoothly. And they are daily devotionals. There are no years associated with them, only the dates. So for today, August the 15th, from the book, What Can Happen When We Pray, Our God Will Satisfy. Today's prayer, praise the Lord, Lord, we are satisfied in you. You have done so many great things in our lives, and we are satisfied with you. Words cannot express how grateful we are that you are in our lives. And for our satisfaction, we glorify and adore thee, giving thee honor and praise. Amen. And alone, David called on the Lord to hear his cry. In this place of wilderness and starvation, David praised God and proclaimed that God would satisfy him, and he did. There are times when we too are in difficult places. Oh, I know that's right. Where emotional stress and tension are high. In those times we are to look to God. Open our mouth and to praise God, proclaim the blessings of God, and bring forth praises to God. Just as God met David in the wilderness, God will comfort us. That's from the book What Can Happen When We Pray for August the 15th. For August the 15th, out of the book Until Today by Iyanla Van Zant, she says, I am faith-filled and fear-free because God always delivers what God has promised to deliver. Oh, do you see the connection? Two different books written by two different authors and edited by different editors, yet on August 15th, the connection. Psalm 138 in the scriptures of the Holy Bible reminds us that God's promises are backed up by the honor of God's name. This means God's got your back. This means that God is with you and for you. It also means that you can depend on God. It can be very reassuring to know that there is someone everywhere who you can rely on. Still, hearing the words may not be enough. You must understand what they mean. When you understand exactly what it means that God, the creator of all, is standing with you, for you, and behind you, a new realm of possibilities and opportunities opens up before you. When you understand that what God has promised to do, God will do, it takes a load from your shoulders. God has promised us many things, the most important of all being, I will never leave nor forsake you. Boy, whew, what a relief. Until today, you may have forgotten, or perhaps you were not aware of all the promises your Creator has made to you. Just for today, take a moment to remember and reflect on the good things that God has promised to do for you and in your life. Today, I'm devoted to remembering the things that God has promised me. That's from the book Until Today by Iyanla Van Zant. So as I said, as we follow our protocol for each morning, my guest is on the line. He has called in, and he is none other than Kevin A. Vaughan. Kevin has a BS degree in electronic engineering technology, and he's the CEO and founder of Men's Let's Talk, MLT, Internet Radio Program. He's a technology consultant and trainer on key technological tool usage or technology tool usage, internet radio, internet TV, video services. And in addition to that, he mentors young men and encourages education for all of our youth. His key focus is helping others grow through key technology. And then lastly, he works in the global startup markets for health and wellness products and services that air on his radio and TV networks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Reading Circle microphones. Kevin Vaughan. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. How you doing today? How's it going, sir?
It's going well, thanks. No need to complain.
Man. You got that right, man. What a great opening, Marc Medley. Thank you so much for your time and the wonderful program, my friend. Just exciting, but the way to open up is just the way you did it, my friend.
I'm not trying to do anything. It's a positive, it sets a positive tone for the rest of the morning. So I have been on the air 14 years now, and for most of those years, we've been following that practice, and most of them has been from those two books, because since the show only comes on once a week, the chances of you hearing one of the devotionals twice is slim to none.
Right, exactly.
So it works out. So I'm glad you can join. Going back to the email. Actually, we had one time before had set up, and then something happened, and we didn't connect. So I'm glad we were able to get it together this time, and you're going to join me on the air. So I'll tell you what, I need to share some information with our listening audience. Audience, you know what to do. You are to get on all of, and I mean all of, your social media networks and let someone know. Use your influence. Let someone know that Kevin Vaughan is on the air with me right now. Get on your LinkedIn, your Pinterest, your Facebook, your Twitter. Get on all your sites. Text somebody. Wake somebody up. Let them know they are to tune in to gobrave.org and they're to catch this interview this morning, because there will be some information on here that's very important and very critical that you will need to hear. I'm going to share some information with you now, but while I'm doing that, you make sure that you let somebody know that they need to wake up, because the early bird catches the worm.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't seen your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
All right, you are listening to The Reading Circle with your host, Marc Medley, right here on WP 88.7 FM. That's FM radio, and then on GoBrave.org, where we web stream around the world, around the globe. So it really doesn't matter where you are as long as you have internet connectivity. And I'm sure that term is very near and dear to Kevin's heart because I see you're dealing with internet radio. So as long as you have internet connectivity, you can catch this show anywhere in the world. I don't care if you're in Africa, if you're in Australia, if you're in Japan. Doesn't matter where you are, you can catch the show. And right here on Northern New Jersey on FM radio. So, Kevin, you have an interesting mix. People tell me all the time that I have an interesting mix of things that I do. And I'm looking at your background, and you have an interesting mix as well in terms of working with technology. And then you also have the Men Let's Talk. And then, of course, we're dealing with the health products. And we're going to talk a little bit about all of that within the hour. So I'll tell you what, let's kind of go in terms of the technology. I mean, technology, I love technology to the point where now, whenever it goes out, I have a fit. Let's talk about the important, how do you get people up to speed, especially maybe some folks who are just not tech savvy? How do you work with them to kind of get them on board?
Fantastic. Well, Mark, that's a great question, and like you, my friend, I love technology. And just a quick background, Mark. First of all, my background, as you mentioned earlier, is electronic engineering technology. So glad I was able to get into that field in college, and I just love inventing. I love the toys that are out there. As you know, Mark, there's some serious electronic toys out there today.
Absolutely.
I tell you, man, I love them, especially the ones that educate and train people from all over the globe. It's not just in the United States, but globally as well. But one of the areas I also studied too, Mark, maybe like you, in college, was radio. Actually, I started working for the college radio station, man. I had my awesome instructor there was Mr. Brown. He took me in as part of the communication and part of my curriculum in college under that school. And I worked for the radio station on campus. Not only did I learn how to broadcast and do music and, weather and things like that, but also I learned how to repair the station. And that's when I started falling in love with electronics, I believe, because you had to fix stuff, man. Like you said earlier, if stuff starts breaking, you got to learn how to fix it.
That's right.
And so we're excited about that, man. Exactly. So we were it, and Mr. Brown gave me the ropes. He gave me the FCC rules and, all the requirements that were required to run a station on the campus there. It was a small station, but I learned so much that kind of propelled me and springboarded me into today. So the other part of that, from that training, I love helping other people understand how to use the technology, how to work the technology. And so from all that, Mark, I got the opportunity to do some training and teaching in that area. Well, that's probably one of the best areas I love is teaching and training others how to use the technology, no matter if you're a doctor, a lawyer, if you're a business owner, poet, author, it doesn't matter, man. We just teach you. If you're a young person and want to learn from us, we'll be glad to share with you. So most of the background is from college, but I love the fact that we have all these wonderful tools today that we can help people with, but you've got to know how to work them. And if they break down, you got to know how to put them back online fairly quickly, too, as well. Mark, back to you, buddy.
This is true. And I tell you, I had just posted on all my social media sites the other day, whenever I was a junior in high school in 1979, my father was ahead of his time because he told me to take a typing. Now, this was prior to the PC, prior to the desktops, prior to laptop and all that. He told me to take a typing course, and I thought he was crazy. I said, what do you mean take a typing course?
Exactly.
But but I guess he must have had some insight as to what was coming in the future.
Yes.
And
brilliant.
Because of that, it opened so many doors in terms of career and everything else, just know how to type. And then by the time the desktops and laptops and all these other things came on board, I mean, people look at me now like, how do you do that? How do you type?
Exactly. That's brilliant, Mark. That's exactly right. That's a good part of our history in education, because I took typing too in the business class, and it wasn't because of something I saw in the future. It just happened to be my girlfriend at the time was dating in high school. She was a business major.
Right.
So I took the class to be with her. And I'm so glad I did, man. I just didn't know what I didn't know then, but I know now. But I'm so happy I took that class, man, because it does and did make a difference.
Well, it really does. And I laugh because it's funny you should say about the girls, because at the time there was only 2 boys in that class.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember.
Right, exactly.
But do in terms of on my job, because like you, in terms of being in education, when I'm not doing radio, I'm actually the principal of a school. And
that's awesome,
the secretaries that work with me, they're always kind of floored that I don't give them all my letters and things to type, that I do all that stuff myself.
Exactly. I love it.
But going back in terms of the technology, you are so right in terms of just being able, once you get an error message or something, just to being able to, and just sitting here talking about, I'm thinking back that on this very campus that this radio station sits is where I went to school. And I remember, and I don't know if you're as old as I am or not, but I remember we had COBOL. That's whenever we were doing punch cards.
Fortran.
Exactly. And that's whenever I was in school. That's what we learned. So to get to the point where we're on desktops and all that stuff now.
Yep.
But I'm saying all that to say, when an error message comes up, you got to be able to figure out what to do.
That's right. That's exactly right. Especially back in the day when you was writing them programs, man, you had to get that stuff right, man. First time almost,
You're right, because one comma off would kill the program.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's wonderful, man. Yeah, so I'm right with you on that, Mark. You're right on time, man, and all the wisdom that our family and friends imparted to us. We thought something was wrong with it, but now I have to go back and say thank you so much for everything you've done for me.
Exactly. So in terms of like like I said, for me, I'm always fascinated whenever, and I know even with like my mom is 76.
Oh,
and
I'm celebrating it with you.
Yes, indeed. So it's like I'm constantly bringing her along technologically, and see, this is the crazy part. She's visiting me right now on vacation. She'll be here for another week. And so we live in 2 different, because I see you went to Savannah State. That's in Georgia, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. She lives down in Louisville. Matter of fact, she took the train station out of Savannah to come up for vacation. Wonderful. So she's in Louisville, Georgia. So we'll get on the phone. She'll get on the computer and get stuck. And I'll try to talk her through it on the telephone.
Exactly. Isn't that wonderful to be able to do that?
It is. But it is quite an experience. And it's interesting. I always get a kick out of seeing someone like in their 70s and 80s with a cell phone.
Exactly.
I can't imagine what goes through their mind of like, where did this come from, going back into their history.
Yeah, exactly. All they want to do is make a phone call and talk,
Exactly. So with that being said, my sister, well, like I just told you, my mother's here. My sister and her daughters, they gave my mother an updated phone. They gave her, because she already had one that I think they just gave her a bigger screen when they had more apps. And I'm sitting there the other night watching them trying to teach her, and I'm just getting the biggest kick out of it. Like, wow, it's like mom has all this power in her hands and just no clue on how to use it.
Right, exactly. Just different era, totally different era, different generation, and it's getting better and better as you know.
Well, it is. And have you ever come across like a 2-year-old that you give an iPad or?
How do you know what to do without the instruction book?
Exactly. And this is like I said, I've seen 2- and 3-year-olds will take that tablet and then.
It really is amazing. I just have to bow before them, because I'm saying, how you figure this out? I ain't figured this. I ain't even know what that. Wow, incredible.
I know that's right.
Alive, What a great time to be alive, Mark.
I can't imagine a better time to be a student or a teacher. because I was sharing last week with my guest. I remember when we were kids, we had encyclopedias, the Dewey Decimal System, the library.
Yes,
yeah. I mean, when we had to research, we literally had to manually research.
That's right.
Now with the search engine, you can put in any keyword, and
that's right.
Kevin, I have yet to come across, I don't care how wild and willy the topic is, I have yet to come across a keyword in the search engine that don't bring up something that somebody's written on it.
That's exactly right, Mark. Everything in my home, anything in my home right now can be Googled. It's amazing, a matter of seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So when I work with the kids, because I work with kids from 2nd grade to 8th grade, and I'm constantly challenging them, saying, you don't know how good you have it.
No, they don't. They really don't.
In terms of being able to research a topic, now I have had the experience, because the danger with that too is plagiarism. I've had kids just pull the stuff off the net and say, "Here's my research, here's my paper." I said, "That's not your paper."
Exactly. It was like 5 minutes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but
I love it.
where I'm leading up to, because now I see you went on into MLT, the Men's Let's Talk Network.
Yes, sir.
Needless to say, there was a like you said, you did college radio and you're into technology. How did you start the Men's Let's Talk Network? And matter of fact, let's talk. Yeah, tell me how you started and tell us what it's all about.
Absolutely. First of all, we're all glory to God in this area, Mark, because what happened is that once I started working later on, we were able to have, with 30 other gentlemen, some good friends of mine, we were able to have Bible study during our lunch period, right? To make a long story short.
Right.
So we had Bible study during our lunch period, and we started talking about men's issues, what they go through, what they need for their families, church, anything, any topic related to man and woman. But we were mainly talking about the men because, we have a lot of men hurting out there today.
Absolutely.
Level. So from that Bible study, after weeks, we said, man, there's something's wrong. There was only 3 of us in the room. We said, man, we got to get this out to other brothers and other sisters out there somehow. And so the Lord actually literally gave me the Men Let's Talk Network. Now, the Men Let's Talk Network is not just for men, Mark. It's for the entire family.
Right.
But as you know, men are out of place. A lot of men, not all of them, men are out of place. So we say, man, we got to get men back in place, and then everything else should start falling in place, including the woman, the kids, and the finances, and the home. Everything should be falling. So that's part of it. So we started the Men Let's Talk Network, and it's for women and men as well to be part of the radio network. So that's where my radio background came in so nicely, because I was able to get onto the Atlanta market and start the Men Let's Talk radio network. Just empowerment, man. We just had a lot of fun. And what we did real quickly, Mark, we focused on, first of all, faith. That was our first focus, was faith in God. We focused on the family. We also focused on finances. That means we would have people to come in and talk about these topics if we didn't talk about them. We also talk about fitness. We want people to stay healthy, too, as well. Bring in doctors and nurses, different people in that area, fitness trainers, and talk about that. And then we would talk about facility. The last F is for facility. That means where people can, where to go. So if you have an event, Mark, we would actually post that event in our network. And if you had a speaking engagement and we knew about Marc Medley going to be at this event in Atlanta, we would post that out and promote that for you. So we had the 5 Fs. And, man, we've been having fun ever since, man, and God is just faithful. And our goal, again, was to strengthen the man and then strengthen the entire family, man. So that's a little bit of history on how the Men Let's Talk Network started, man. Incredible.
Well, this dovetails with the guest that the conversation I had last week. I had Burgess Owens on, and we were talking about the same thing in terms of the male and the place. And in African-American history, a lot of our families were torn apart systematically with the various assistance systems and government systems and everything in place. Even today, it still systematically pulls our families apart, because as I was sharing last week, I don't know because I'm not real familiar with the welfare system, but I do remember at one point, and I think it's still that way, and I could be wrong, where in order for the woman to receive assistance, the man couldn't be in the house. Now, okay, so that never made sense to me in terms of, like we were just saying, if the male is in place, everything else will fall in place. And yet the systems were designed to pull the male out of place.
That's right. That's right, Mark. You hit it right on the head, my friend.
So the fact that you have that, and you're right, in terms of men, because this is the first thing. This is why what you're doing is so powerful. Because first off, as you know, men generally don't talk about anything other than women, sports, maybe their cars.
That's right.
But in terms of getting into their real feelings of their hurting, because most people, again, they don't realize men hurt too.
That's right.
And so men don't get into those kind of conversations. So the fact that you were facilitating that's powerful.
Yeah, it was great, man. God's just been so awesome. And I was there. I was there. I loved talking, but I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to release my feelings. I wanted to be the man, but I was hurting in the inside. I had to get around some other stronger brothers that say, hey, we got to release this stuff out. We got to channel this stuff. We got to get educated in the things of God. We got to get educated on what people need and start moving forward, man. So we've been having fun and helping a lot of people. We do men's conferences, as you probably do as well, and we just try to help out where we can, Mark. So the Men Let's Talk Network is for the entire family, and we're just having fun, my friend.
And that's up and running now. That's still in existence.
Absolutely, sir.
And how does someone log on to that, or how do they get on? How do they become a part of MLT, or how do they get a chance to listen or tune in?
Yeah, fantastic. Probably the quickest way, real quickly, Mark, and thank you so much for the opportunity there, is go to the MLTnetworks.net website. That's MLTnetworks.net. And that will also give you the information on all the areas that we're in, specifically the radio, television, and health and wellness. So MLTnetworks.net, we'll get them there, and they go to the a link there. There's a link up in the upper right-hand corner to Mark that they can go to. It's titled for the opportunity. If they click on opportunity, they'll see the Men Let's Talk Radio, Men Let's Talk Television on that network. That's MLTnetworks.net.
Now, when we get near like around 5 minutes or so before the end of the show or the close of the show, I always give the guest the opportunity to like really promote. So we're going to come back to that again at around 6:55 or so, right before we go off the air in this segment. So I'm going to give you a chance to do that, as well as the other areas that you're in also. I'm getting ready to share some more information with the audience. So, Kevin, this is what I share this with my guests all the time, because I know many of my radio colleagues say, we're taking a break, we'll be right back. And I always tell them, and I tell my audience, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to share this information. Well, hey, I can go run off and do that. No, I still want you to stay near your radio.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, their assignment is get on all their social networks and use their influence, because I want folks to hear Kevin with me this morning. Use your social influence. I'm going to share this information with you, and while I'm doing so, I want you to share your influence with everyone you have, whether you text them, tweet them, Facebook them, LinkedIn them, Pinterest them, Instagram them, whatever you need to do to get folks to listen to Kevin and I this morning, because when we go into the segment we're about to go into, it is really important. And I'm not talking about one who's talking about what he thinks. I'm talking about one who tells you what he knows in terms of the areas we're going into next, because they all connect, Kevin. There's no experience is wasted.
That's right.
That's what I love, because when you're talking about, I did radio in college, we learned how to type, we did all these experiences are feeding into what we're doing.
Absolutely, my friend. Amazing.
And it really is, because when you're going through an experience, you have no idea how it's going to connect to something in the future.
Nope, exactly.
Because I just told you I'm the principal of a school, but when I was in college, I was a janitor in a school. I've been a janitor, I've been a jet engine mechanic, I've been an organist, I've been a secretary, everything. Whenever I worked for AT&T for 15 years, I was a marketing manager. So everything I've ever done feeds in.
Yes.
And so, like I said, to me, no experience is ever wasted. And I try to help folks to understand, regardless of what job you may have at the given moment, that's experience that one day you can always pull back on.
Absolutely. That's great.
So even my janitor job, I put like my custodians. When I'm working with them, I tell them, look, you're not gonna be able to pull the wool on my eyes now, because I did this job. And then we're gonna come back and talk a little bit about health.
Yes.
The cow says. I love you.
To a child, it's just something else to play with. Lock it up, because 1.7 million children in the U.S. are living with unlocked and loaded guns. Get involved at ceasefireusa.org.
Hey, Willie P. students! Need help with a paper? Stuck on a difficult writing assignment? Have no fear, the WPU Writing Center is here. The Writing Center can help you form a thesis, edit a paper, or just organize ideas. Feel free to stop by either of our locations. We're at Atrium 128 and Valley Road 3048. For more information, please check out our website at wpunj.edu/Writing Center. Remember, walk-ins are welcome. We look forward to seeing you at the Writing Center.
WP 88.7. We're braver than skinny dipping in the middle of January. See? I told you. Brave New Radio.
That's right. You're listening to Brave New Radio. We have the opportunities here, and the reason we have that tagline is because we have the opportunity to do some things some of our commercial stations cannot do, because they have to always be wary of, what they can say and do based on their advertising support and corporate support, this, that, and the other. That particular worry we don't have. So you might hear a little bit of anything here on Brave New Radio on WP 88.7 FM and GoBrave.org. My guest this morning is Kevin Vaughan, and we've been talking about Kevin's background and history and his contribution to the world in terms of his being able to teach technology. And if there's one thing that we need to learn in 2015 and beyond is technology. Yes. And then we also talked a little bit about how men need to come together and be able to express themselves, and he gives them an opportunity to do that on his radio and television show on the MLT network, Men Let's Talk. And then there's another component to Kevin that we're going to spend some time on in this last half hour or so of the interview. And Kevin, we're still going to bounce back and forth between Men Let's Talk, technology, and the health piece. And right before I shared the information with the audience, I told you this piece is near and dear to my heart for several reasons. One, I have never been big on medicine, on the pharmaceutical industry. That's the first thing. I mean, I've always done everything I could to stay off of any type of medication. All right?
Yes, sir.
Secondly, after doing some research on the pharmaceutical industry years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Kevin, I had an author on. She wrote a book called Our Daily Meds. Mm-hmm. Just like, our daily bread in the Bible. She wrote a book called Our Daily Meds. And it's an expose of the pharmaceutical industry. Yes. And if anyone were to read that book, what we're about to talk about this morning would make a whole lot of sense to you as to why you wouldn't want to be on medication. Now, this is the deal. And I had this conversation with my mom and a few other people, Kevin. The very industries that you would think that would really have the well-being of human beings in mind don't.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So when you go to your doctor and you're thinking that I have to take this medicine, it's supposed to be keeping me alive, in many instances that medicine is killing you.
That's exactly right, sir.
All right. So there's industries such as, like, I've done research on the food industry. I've done research on the pharmaceutical industry. And in terms of, there's a wonderful book out called Sugar, Salt, Fat. So I always get the order mixed up. So it's either fat, sugar, salt, or sugar, salt, fat, or whatever it is. But again, it's an expose of the food industry.
Yes.
So if those two books, and their authors' names escapes me because it's been some years. Again, going back to what we said about Google and any other search engine,
Yep.
put in Our
Yep.
Daily Meds, the book will come up, and if you put in sugar, salt, fat, that will come up. But if you were to read those two books, what Kevin and I are about to talk about right now, like I said, it would leap off and leap out of the radio or your speakers at you, and it would begin to make a whole lot of sense. Because I'm looking at his mission here is to encourage people to get off of pills and medication to
Yeah.
move to more effective and natural supplements that through science testing works best.
Yes.
And that's what the other part of what Kevin is about is we're going to talk about. And that's this whole notion of this whole thing. So let's start off before we even get into how to treat things. What are because we were talking about men's issues. Let's talk a little bit like the top 5 men health issues.
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question, Marc Medley, and I appreciate your time on this one, man. It's amazing what's going on with our men and women today. But our top 5 men issues today is heart disease, right? Heart disease. We're just going to mention a few.
That's right.
And one thing, Mark, I want to mention to everybody, too, is that I am not a doctor. All this stuff can be looked up. It's in the medical journals. I have friends that are doctors, so it can be all backed up, of course, as well through the medical journals and, of course, via your own doctor as well. So we've got to tell people that, hey, they need to look this information up, but it's readily available, as you mentioned earlier, about the power of the Internet. Just incredible. So everybody can find out if I'm telling the truth or not, by looking up this information yourself.
That's right.
So one of the areas for sure is heart disease, cancer, stroke, chronic pulmonary disease, which is in our heart area, and, of course, pneumonia and influenza and diabetes. We've got suicide, and then we've got kidney disease, and then liver and cirrhosis as well. So that's some of the things for men, Mark, we're talking about. But the top ones is heart disease, cancer, and stroke. Just incredible, man.
Now, like I said, in terms of it being near dear, I lost my father to heart disease. He was 1 week before his 49th birthday in 1985. Had a massive heart attack. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not telling what I'm thinking. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what Kevin is telling you is that these are they. Heart disease, cancer, stroke, the pulmonary disease, diabetes. And see, the diabetes strikes home for me, too, because on my mother's side, that runs deep. So yes, it is. Almost 2 years ago, I went to have my annual physical, and my doctor came back and said, your A1C numbers are off. She said, you're borderline diabetic. So at that point, I had to do a serious diet change and get even more exercise in. And with that, thank God, I've been able to keep the A1C numbers down. But I'm still on the fringe. And so it's like if I don't do certain things, I'll cross over that line. And so
exactly. Same here.
That's why I'm saying this stuff that you're talking about hits home for me. Because in terms of the health, and then because Kevin, this is what I tell for now. I don't know what God's plan is, because I know God laughs every time I say this, because God has a sense of humor. So I know every time I say this, he sits up there and probably laughs. But I always tell folks my goal is to be 100 and healthy.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. That's exactly right, my friend.
That's my goal. Now I ain't say 100 and scuffling, 100 and drooling, 100 and 100 and healthy. That's my goal, and so I'm sure. Now, because my pastor, that's his goal too, and he's 7 years younger than me, so I'm sure that when God hears that, he laughs. But in any event, that is the goal. But in order to get that and to do that, if I have a choice between health and wealth, I'll take the health.
Absolutely.
Because if I have my health, I can work on the wealth. It doesn't work the other way around.
That's right. That's exactly right. And of course, as you know too, Mark, it allows us to do things like this. Be on the radio, on time. Be on the radio hour or 2 or 3 or whatever it is, It allows you to keep your health where you can do things that you really want to do and actually bring out your own purpose. And our purpose is here to serve others, as you know. You can't serve others if you're not feeling good, buddy.
Absolutely. You can't serve others if you're not fit. You know what I tell folks all the time? If you ever fly, if you ever notice, because it almost sounds crazy whenever the flight attendants are telling you this, but they say, you put on your mask.
Nobody, right?
Right.
I had to think that one through a while back. I said, okay, now I know why. You say, I'm thinking about my child here.
That's right.
There's a reason for everything, isn't it? It's a reason for everything.
Absolutely. So when I look at the top 5 women health, they kind of cross to certain degrees. So what are the top 5 women health issues?
Yeah, the ones that the system, that is all researchable, of course, as well. Heart disease, once again, Mark. Breast cancer, that's a big one that we want to talk about sometime. Osteoporosis, depression, that's another one that women are concerned about today that I know, specifically depression. And then autoimmune and disease, autoimmune disease. So those are our top three: are heart disease, breast cancer, and osteoporosis is one of our areas as well.
Now, what is, because I just told you a little bit about the research I've done on the food industry, but what is actually causing all of these things? Because if you go to some of the islands, or if you go to some of even what they call, quote unquote, the third world countries where, you know, they eat everything off the land, they grow everything, they're not suffering from some of this stuff that we here in the United States seem to keep constantly getting hit with. Did you, in your research, have you come across kind of what's driving all these illnesses or these health issues?
Yes. Absolutely. You know, Mark, also, too, I want to mention about these books. As you was talking, I was Googling real quickly. Our Daily Meds is by Melody Patterson.
That's it.
Who are interested in that. So to make sure they had that. Melody Patterson, Our Daily Meds. And for the salt, sugar, fat, Michael Moss.
That's it. That's
Michael
right.
Moss.
Melody Peterson and Michael Moss. That's right. That's the two authors.
Sure people had that. Very, very powerful. But also, too, and just recently, the Center of Disease and the FDA just recently put out a report, Mark, saying they have too many meds out in the system now, all around the globe. They've just recently put that out there. This is the people who actually release these pills and meds into the system, saying we have too much medication, too many pills in the United States specifically that are hurting the people. Now, they didn't say that in that manner, but they just know that they're putting too much out there, but they continue to do that. So what we're talking about, Mark, to answer your question, is first of all, the food. As you know, in general now, let's say in general, because a lot of people are eating healthier now, but in general, people are not getting the nutritional value in minerals and vitamins from the food. That's the first thing, as you know. And as you know, to eat and get the right nutrition in our body, we're going to have to eat a lot of good food every day, and people just don't do that. They just simply can't do it. They can't get it. They can't get to it for some reason. They don't know how to understand what they got to eat. And if you had to eat this every day, you probably wouldn't enjoy it anyway. So that's why they got the supplements out there.
That's right.
So part of it is our diet and what we eat most in around the country and around the world. This is not just the United States, though, Mark, as you know. This is around the globe. So when I talk about it, this is a global problem. So our diet is next. Exercise, a lack of exercise, is the other area, too, as well. And, of course, we've got other environmental. Well, those are our two areas, lack of exercise and eating the right foods. And, of course, with our system today, the foods just don't have the minerals and the vitamins that we need to have on a daily basis to help sustain our bodies.
Now, that's interesting in terms of the lack of exercise, because part of the lack of exercise, really, as much as we talked about how much we love technology, part of that comes from the fact that we have the technology that, for the most part, we're sitting behind computers all day, or we're playing with tablets, or we're playing with video games, which we've made our kids almost like the couch potatoes, because they just sit and play PlayStation and Xbox all day. So whenever you start saying we're not getting enough exercise, sadly, I guess one of the, if you wanted to call it a drawback of technology, is just that it causes us to be in more and sitting and doing things, opposed to where we were kids, we'd go out and play tag and baseball and football and this, that, and the other. The kids really don't do too much of that, plus other things going on. I also it was interesting the point you just made about too many medicines. I believe it's in Melody's book, the Our Daily Meds book. I think it's that book. If not, it's another one, where it goes into. That's what I was talking about earlier when you said that the industries that you would think would be there to save your life really is not, because the CEOs and the directors and all these people are sitting at those tables saying, look, we need a blockbuster med. And a blockbuster med produces so many X billions of dollars. Like if the medicine doesn't produce this, if it doesn't hit this level of profit, it's not a blockbuster med. So they'll sit around the table saying, we got to come up with something.
That's right.
And that's right. If you ever notice, Kevin, when you watch TV, that you have all these commercials about ailments that really are not ailments.
Right.
A lot of them are just the byproduct of aging, but they will put these cute little commercials on TV that make you think you have something. So when you go to your doctor, you will say, doctor, I have that ailment I saw on the TV commercial. And the doctor now prescribes that medicine.
That's right.
It's all a game.
Exactly.
And most people really don't understand it. It's, again, like some of the things like incontinence and some of that stuff just comes with aging, and they make it seem like it's this horrid ailment.
Right.
And now the person goes to the doctor, and then now the doctor prescribes something that have more side effects than the ailment is trying to cure.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. You hit it right on the head, man. And one of the biggest pet peeves I have, my friend, is that if you have a simple headache, you can go get something for that headache, but then you better know there's 15 issues behind that that can happen to you. Now, I said, how in the world do people do this when there's 15 negatives about taking this item for your headache? Just incredible.
No, you're right, because that's right. 15 to 20 side effects for the one cure.
It's amazing. I said, it's just amazing that people still do it, though, because my doctor said I need to have this. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And that's where, it's again, the doctor's a person that we trust, but many of them, not all of them, but some.
No, not all of them. That's right.
Some of them, they get in cahoots with the pharmaceutical company, and they now get a kickback. Okay, if you prescribe X number of this, you're going to get that. And again, it's just a matter of knowing. I'm not condemning, I'm not judging, I'm not one way or the other, but at least be informed. At least as an informed consumer. That's all. Last week when I had the conversation with my guest, this week with you, if nothing else, as folks listen to this, I hope they become informed so they can make better decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mark. That's really what we want to do. We want to educate first.
Yes.
So people will make the right decision, Mark, as you know. Most people that we talk to and know that listen to this wonderful network as well around the globe are educated enough to say, hey, just point me in a direction.
Right.
I'll look up the information, make my own decision.
Right.
And that's what we want to do today.
And that's an excellent point. And that's all we're trying to do is whenever we refer books such as I just told about Our Daily Meds and Sugar, Salt, Fat, whatever, read it for yourself. You heard Kevin say, hey, you don't believe the facts I'm giving you? Research them yourself. But again, make the decision. I'm looking here in terms of vitamin deficiencies. Absolutely right. Because whenever I did after my father died, I made sure that I got my annual everything every year. Eyes, dental, my annual physical. But sure enough, whenever, again, that same report that I got a couple years ago, it showed that I had a vitamin D deficiency. That I was a little, because vitamin D comes from us being in the sun.
Absolutely.
And so what is good, and it's amazing how everything in the body connects, because my mother's had diabetes for 30, 35, close to 40 years, and I had, until I was threatened with a diagnosis, that's when I did my research on it, but I had no idea how destructive that disease is.
Wow.
And when you start talking deficiencies, a part of that is the vitamin D and the vitamin B12 deficiencies. So let's talk a little bit about how do we kind of shore some of those up?
Fantastic. That's a great question. And I tell you, Mark, one of the two areas, we'll talk as many as we can here, but today specifically, you already hit on it already, the vitamin D and B right now. But right now, to get your vitamin D outside, part of the world gets the sunshine every day, of course, but people are not outside enough to get the vitamin that they need. As you know, also, too, people are also putting the sunscreen on. We're going to talk about that some other time, but people putting sunscreen, blocker, and all this stuff on the very thing that they need, because of different skin tones. We understand that as well. But most of the problem, though, Mark, with the vitamin D deficiency, if you have these symptoms, ladies and gentlemen, you're most likely vitamin D deficient, Mark. So we're going to run down this list real quickly. First of all, increased risk of death from cardiovascular disease if you're diagnosed with that. Cognitive impairment in older adults, severe asthma in children, and cancer. And this is type 1 and type 2 cancers. If you have been diagnosed in these areas, Mark, for our audience, you're most likely vitamin D deficient. And you've got to supplement for that vitamin D deficiency area. That's our first thing. So we're talking about type 2 and type 1 diabetes, hypertension, glucose intolerance, and multiple sclerosis also included in that. If you have these areas, you're most likely vitamin D deficient, Mark. Just incredible, man.
I'm looking here, and it's interesting. One of the questions concerned health overall, of what can you do to have better health. And I could not agree more. One area you said something about laughing. I said, what else do we need to do toward better health? Exercise at least 10 minutes a day, eat the right foods, drink water 8 glasses per day, smile, laugh. Now, those two are key for me, the smiling and laughing, and be involved in helping others grow. We were just talking about to be honest with you, and if the world would get this, it would be so much of a better place in terms of each one of us is put here to make life better for somebody else.
Exactly.
And Kevin, this is the part that boggles my mind of why people don't understand it. If everyone in the world was making life better for somebody else, that means while me and you are making life better for somebody's making life better for us.
Absolutely.
I don't get why.
Here today, because all the people, put into us so we can get to where we're at today. It's amazing, all the people that helped me get to where I'm at today. Just incredible.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why more people don't get there. If everybody were making an effort to make life better for somebody else, that means somebody would be making life better for us. And this the whole notion of laughing and smiling, that is a big man, it is a challenge to get some folks to laugh.
I know it. Or just smile, let alone that. Yeah, let alone smile or laugh. And just smile. How about that, Mark?
Just
smile about something.
You say just get to the smile. I know that's right.
Smile, yeah, man.
We were talking earlier about the natural ingredients. So let's talk about what are some of these alternatives? Because certainly, like I said, me, right now, thank God. I praise God, right? I always tell folks I'd rather take vitamins than medicine. And this is that's the point where I am right now. I got my nice little cocktail of vitamins I take every morning. But what are some of these natural supplements or that folks can take as an alternative with the hopes of staying off medication, or if they're on medication that might help it work a little bit better?
Thank you so much, Mark. One thing, Mark, we're promoting today is the spray vitamins. And let me tell you why real quickly, Mark. First of all, I'm looking right here in front of me, a physician's desk reference. So this information can be looked up. This is the best absorption rate by the type. So real quickly, the pill, if you're taking a pill, it's going to get about 18% absorption rate into your body.
Okay.
If you're taking a gel or a capsule, Mark, it's going to be about 38%. If you're taking a transdermal patch that you put on your arm, about 50% absorption rate into your bloodstream. Sublingual liquid, if you're taking a liquid underneath your tongue or on your tongue, about 65%. Extra muscular injection, these are shots that people take. Some people take the B12 shot. You're probably going to get about 80% of that vitamin that you need into your bloodstream. Now, the reason why we're excited about the spray is because scientifically, intraoral spray over 95% absorption rate on a contact within your bloodstream. Just incredible. And that's the reason why we're talking about that today, because the sprays give you the fastest and most effective absorption rate into your bloodstream with the molecules of the vitamins and the supplements that we're talking about.
And where are you spraying it? And are you spraying it in your mouth? Are you spraying it on your skin? Where are you spraying it?
Yeah, actually, the inside mouth walls. Inside of your mouth walls is, as you know, is a very soft tissue area, and that's the best way to absorb the spray into your bloodstream, where you can get almost immediate, within 5 or 6 minutes, you'll get some results on these sprays, Mark. Just incredible. So that's the secret behind the vitamin sprays. The vitamin sprays are not new, and the vitamins are not new. Vitamin D and B is not new.
Right.
We're just talking about the delivery system, Mark. The delivery system is off the chain, man. It works. People are getting the results that pills do not get. And real quickly, the pills have coatings. They got glucose. They got all this chemical stuff, and the body's saying, what am I going to do with this? I can't even get to what I'm supposed to get to.
Wow.
The body's shutting down. The liver's shutting down. The kidneys are getting contaminated over time. They're switching pills. They say, Mark, if this doesn't work, come back. We'll give you something else. You don't even know what happened to your body the first time, It's incredible, man. I had to get educated on this, man.
And you're educating me right now in terms of the sprays, because like I said, I have my little cocktail that I swallow daily. But the spray I was not aware of. Now, as I'm talking to you, you're making me aware of it. And I'm sure many of you who are listening to us right now are probably hearing about the sprays for the first time as well. Yeah. So, all right. So now, does the spray come in multivitamin, or is it just by like the, D or B12, or is it a multi-spray as well?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, first of all, we have the vitamin D, Mark. That's the first one we have just for vitamin D. It has the vitamin D supplements in there. Also, too, we have the B12 complex, which includes B6 and B3. So that's our B12. These are all separate sprays that last for 30 days as well, Mark. And then the next one is what we call Slim by 10, for those who want to lose weight naturally. We have that for healthy metabolism and losing weight, Slim by 10. And then we have our Super 10. Now, the Super 10, Mark, this is powerful, man. For those who love energy drinks, we're telling people get rid of those energy drinks, reduce that coffee, and take your Super 10. Now, the Super 10 is going to help men specifically and women, but it helps in vitality, your immune system, mental clarity, and just gives you the right minerals that you need for your daily regimen. And then last but not least, we have one, this is very powerful, Mark, called Cell Energy, man. Cell Energy is amazing. This is the one that helps get you down to the cellular level and starts help repairing stuff. We've got documentation where this will help repair sickle cell, help you, give you energy to your cell level, and to give you that energy boost that you need to help boost up that immune system. So we have 5 different sprays that do 5 different things, Mark. They all work together. So you can, literally you can take them all together if you needed to. But we do have some powerful sprays. But the key ingredient in that, I should say, is the spray with the highest absorption rate of any known way of taking any type of supplement.
So you would actually spray it in your mouth like a breath freshener? You would spray it the same way? You kind of like, hit the thing on the button or whatever and spray it in your mouth?
Exactly. You just open up your mouth real wide and spray on the inside mouth walls. You take 5 to 8 sprays a day, depending on the actual spray itself, but 5 to 8 a day, and you're done. I take all of mine in the morning, Mark, and I'm done for the day, buddy. It's incredible. So
it's 5 to 8 squirts or 5 to 8 sprays per day, and that would be your vitamins for the day.
Exactly. That would be your supplement for the day. So,
wow, that's different. I'm also seeing here in terms of blood types. Now, I know my blood type is AB positive, and it's saying in terms of knowing the important. Now, something I'm reading here that I didn't realize. You were talking about eating for your blood type.
Oh, that's powerful, Mark. My pastor's wife is actually a nurse. I didn't know this till recently either, but literally as we get older, we're supposed to eat your blood type because there's certain things that could be affecting the way you feel and where you're putting out energy as well. So we're supposed to eat to our blood type, and that's some information online. So, for example, I'm O, so I can go type in eating to blood type O, and it'll give you information on that.
Now, see, that's something I learned new today as
well.
Very
powerful, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
now that I tell folks all the time, one of my mantras and mottos is you should learn something new every day. Now, you've already given me 2 things that I've learned new on August 15th. The first thing was the whole vitamin spray concept, because I've never really given that a thought. And certainly this whole notion of eating to your blood type. So needless to say, when I get home, I will be going to the search engine and putting eating for AB plus blood types to see, because that's something, again, these are all the things that we don't think about.
No, it's something I learned, man. I had to get around the right people, man. That's what we do. We get around the right people. They educate you. You do the research, and you figure it out. You really figure it out. But I had the pleasure of meeting the people that actually formulated these products and formulated the sprays into to that delivery system, and it just made sense. It just made sense.
I see where you have the Tell the People events, the TTPs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got to get the word out, Mark. That's why we're on the network, man. We're trying to get the information out so people can do their homework. The sprays work. We got testimonies all across the globe, Mark, and we're just excited about getting people back to their optimum and top peak health. And the sprays will get you there. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Wow. Well, again, like I said, in terms of eating toward the blood type, no thought to that. And like I said, it's one of the first things I'm going to do when I get home is go to my computer and I'm going to type in there eating for AB plus blood type.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm certainly going to do that. And I'm also going to, needless to say, I'm going to go to your site as well in terms of the MLT. I'm going to go to your site on that in terms of listening to the show. And now, is that something you can log on to join in the conversation?
As far as the radio, you mean, side?
Right, as far as the radio show is concerned.
Yeah, the radio show side is set up, on demand. So, for example, if a person wanted to be on the show, we'd have to set it up and set up a show for them as well on that, Mark. So what we do is normally take in orders or take in appointments, if you will, to set up a show for that individual. So normally I have at least 3 regular shows a week, but the other days are available for people like yourself that want to be a guest on the show. And we just set that up and run
so that. So it's not as if it's a conference call or a dial-in type show. It's a show where you just listen to the conversation.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sorry, it is a dial-in as well. But we do set up the show, and then, of course, people can dial in and then be part of that show as well. That's
what I mean. So it actually becomes a conversation that any man could join into?
That's correct.
Ah, that's slick.
That's a lot of fun, man.
I know it has to be. That has to be, because I know, you know what, a lot of people have started doing on Twitter now. They've had, like, particularly in education and whatever industry you're in, they have what they call Twitter chats. And that's where everybody now, they'll start tweeting. They'll, like, whoever's the leader of the Twitter chat will throw out a question. And now everybody that's following the chat will respond on Twitter to it. And so that's what I was kind of visualizing is you're called that way, where you tell everybody
absolutely
the time, and folks can join the call and join the conversation. All right, well, I'm going to share some more information with the listening audience, and then when we come back, this is going to be your opportunity to promote, and you can say anything other than a dollar amount. Well, you're in radio, so you know. I mean, in terms of the FCC and all that kind of stuff, you can say anything other than an actual dollar amount, but anything else as far as what the product is, where you're going to be, how they can get a hold of you, your websites, this, that, and the other. Any of that you can do. So when we resume, because we're not going anywhere, listening audience, when we resume, you're going to hear Kevin tell you all about how you can learn more about the things we've been talking about for the last hour. Don't you dare move unless you are turning up your radio knob, or unless you are hitting up your social networks to tell them to catch the last few minutes of this powerful interview. We've talked about some things that are real and relevant to 2015. The use of technology, men talking and really talking. I mean, beyond women, beyond sports, beyond cars, beyond whatever else that men generally think men have to talk about that doesn't include feelings. We've talked about that, and we've also talked about health and how possibly you can have better health by the utilization of these products. So I'm going to share this with you. You share as well, and then when Kevin comes back, he's going to let you know how you can get in touch with him.
Hi, my name is Stan Myers, and I'm here at FM 88.7. I do a jazz show called Just a Mood, and if you like the music, anything from Louis to Lester Boyd, I'm your man. That's Sunday afternoons, 3 to 6. Looking to hear from you, okay?
Want to expand your horizons? Want to broaden your mind? Well, listen to the only show of its kind. Listen to The Reading Circle.
We bring you what's going on in the world of reading, in the world of books. Sometimes the book may be from 20, 30 years ago, because the thing about books, they are timeless, particularly if there's a good message. And then there are times when we do books that are hot off the press, that were just released.
Listen to The Reading Circle every Saturday morning from 6 a.m.
The Reading Circle with your host, Marc Medley.
Only on WP 88.7 FM.
WPSC FM 88.7, Wayne, New Jersey.
Part of the William Patterson Broadcast Network. Brave New Radio.
Brave New Radio. Give us your tired, your poor, your hungry, your rockers, your punks, your freaks, your geeks, your Greeks, your party animals, your gangsters, your commuters, your residents, your students, your alums, your lawyers, your truckers, your calls, your tweets. And we'll give you rock, classic, indie, punk, alternative, easy, hard, raps, rhymes, mixes, and drops. We'll give you kick-ass music because we're WPSC 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio. Sound good?
Straight from the WP 88.7 FM Weather Center, here's your local forecast.
Well, we are still at 67 degrees, working our way up to a high of 91. Wow. Sunny, high 91 today, a low of 66, mainly, I know that's right, mainly clear. And then tomorrow, Sunday, even higher, 93, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny, and then partly cloudy skies Sunday night. On Monday, even higher, 95 as a high, 68 as a low. Looks like we have a few clouds in the afternoon, 40% chance of rain Monday night, and then we're going to drop a little bit on Tuesday, back to 93, 66 as a low, partly cloudy in the morning, followed by scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, 50% chance of rain. Again, low of 66, partly cloudy Tuesday night, and then the sun pops back out again on Wednesday, except for a few afternoon clouds, 91 as a high, 68 as a low.
Broadcasting from William Patterson University, WP 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio.
Yes, indeed, you are listening to Brave New Radio, and Kevin Vaughan and I this morning have been talking about 3 interrelated, interdependent, and in some respects independent topics. And as I said earlier, no experience is wasted, so the backgrounds of both of us has led us to this point today. And we've talked about the use of technology. We've talked about men being able to express themselves, and we've talked about health. And Kevin briefly told you a little bit about the top health issues for both men and women, and also told you about some alternatives. Now, we were very clear. Neither one of us are doctors. So please don't go out saying that we tried to give you a cure-all, because we're not. We're not giving you a cure-all. As a matter of fact, we don't even pretend or try to be doctors. And we have disclaimers that I'm sure Kevin will get into. But at the same time, see, I'm one of those experimenters, Kevin, that for me, if I have an idea that I think is going to make me feel better, I'm willing to try it.
Exactly.
And especially after I've done the research for it. Because, nobody's asking you to run out blindly and do any of this stuff. Research it for yourself. Go and see what the statistics say. Go and see what the research says. Go see what doctors say. Go see what science says, and then make a informed decision. Like I said, in terms of the disclaimer, the products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Correct.
But they are approved vitamin supplements under the laws. So, Kevin, let folks know how they can get in touch with you, your network, the products. Go for it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Marc Medley. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor to be with Marc today, and thank you very, very much. Marc, I'm going to run right down the line real quick because there's a lot of people listening all around the country there. First of all, Marc, I wanted to mention a lifestyle call. We have a lifestyle call for those who just want to know a little bit more about what we're talking about today that promotes the vitamin sprays. So our lifestyle call, Marc, every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. to about 11:30 a.m., we have a lifestyle call so people can hear the testimonies. Marc, without a doubt, the key to our business, key to the sprays, is the testimonies, man. I have people that are on the sprays are working, and if they weren't working, they would let me know as well. So you got people that will let you know real quick that these sprays are not working. You need to get off there. You need to stop telling people about the sprays. So we have testimonies that will back us up on this one there. So our lifestyle call, Marc, our number is 510-227-1010. That's 510-227-1010, Marc. That's our lifestyle call for those who want to call in Monday through Friday and just hear other people other than ourselves talk about this wonderful opportunity and of the sprays. Also, too, Marc, real quickly, for those who are on Facebook, if you just type in 10, T-E-N, vitamin sprays on Facebook, you'll get a ton of testimonies and information about that on Facebook. That's 10 vitamin sprays on Facebook. Same for YouTube, Marc. They can go to YouTube and look us up again for some powerful testimonies from around the globe on YouTube. Just type in 10 vitamin sprays. That'll give you another opportunity to hear from other people. We'll talk about thousands of people that are using the sprays and getting the results. And also, too, very important, you kind of mentioned, Marc, too, is the TTP. And the TTP is a tell the people. All we're doing right now, Marc, is going around the country just telling the people about the sprays and why they work. And the reason why they work, ladies and gentlemen, the vitamins are not new, the minerals are not new. It's the fact that the delivery system is a lot more absorption into your bloodstream. So the vitamin sprays work because of the spray technology, ladies and gentlemen, that allows over 95% absorption rate into your bloodstream. Marc, real quick testimony, two of them real quickly. I had one of my customers just recently took vitamin B and called me back within 5 minutes. They would get results. So that gives you a little idea how fast the delivery system is in that area. Another area, too, that I love my doctors, Marc, but my doctor never told me I needed B12. They were trying to put me on medication and all this other stuff and pills. I just would not do it, so I still was having some issues with a vitamin B12 deficiency. Once I got on the B12 spray, after talking to the doctor who put the sprays together, I actually flew out to California to meet the doctor and the scientists that put this stuff together. I wanted to know, what y'all doing here, really want to understand that.
I know that's right.
I got on board, been on the B12 for about 2 years now, and tremendous results in that area for me personally as well. But there's hundreds of other testimonies all across the globe. But the bottom line, too, and quickly, Marc, that people can go to mltnetworks.net, mltnetworks.net, to get more information about the sprays, because we really want people, Marc, to do the research. It's so important. This is so important because we don't know where people are at with their bloodstream, with their deficiencies. We don't know none of that. They have to go through the doctor. And this is very important that they must go to the doctor. If they're on medication, they got to go to the doctor before they get on these sprays to make sure everything's okay, because we don't know how things interact as you know, because we don't know what's been given to them in the past. So it's so important that you check with your doctor, ladies and gentlemen, before you start the sprays. And once you get an okay to do that, we'll be happy to take care from there. But go to mltnetworks.net. That's mltnetworks.net. Mark, thank you so much for that, my friend.
You are more than welcome, and I'm so glad we had the conversation. And again, this is the power of technology and social media, because I constantly hit social media advertising the show and trying to get folks to listen and tune in. And Kevin was following me along in LinkedIn, and he messaged me back, and before you know it, we had set the date again for the show. And I tell you, Kevin, in terms of talking about technology, when Facebook first came out, because right before Facebook, there was this similar type thing for kids called MySpace. And I said, that's for kids. So when Facebook came out, I had the same attitude towards it. I said, that's for kids. But, then it dawned on me. It kind of hit me like the pineapple over the head in the commercials. Like, wait a minute, I can use this for advertising. I can use this for business purposes, for getting exposure for the show. And that's what kind of kicked me off into all the social networks of promoting the show. And I have gotten some wonderful guests as a result of promoting on the social networks, and you're one of them. And again, we keep in contact with each other through LinkedIn or Facebook or what have you, but it has been a wonderful medium in terms of me meeting people and getting guests to come on the show. And I'm so glad you rose early. Are you in the Atlanta area?
Yeah, actually, sure. I'm out in Metro Atlanta. The city is called Kennesaw, Georgia, just outside of about 45 minutes from Atlanta. Atlanta, Mark.
Okay, because like I said, my mother's in Louisville, and each time Atlanta is one of my favorite southern cities because of the association with Martin Luther King. And I make sure that every time I go visit my mother in Louisville, I make my way, because Louisville is about 2.5 hours from there. But I make sure I make that drive, and I don't care how many times I've been to the King Center, I go again.
Exactly. That is powerful, man. That's great. Yeah,
I love going to Atlanta. The lifestyle in terms of just the first time I went to Atlanta. No, the second time, because the first time I was a kid, I really didn't know. But the second time as an adult, I had never been to a place where I saw so many African American businesses.
Yeah. Exactly.
I actually was in a shopping mall down there that was all African American. I had never seen that in my life.
What an experience, isn't it? Isn't it a wonderful experience?
It was, to see folks who look like me own things.
Exactly.
And run things. And so for me, like I said, I've just always out of this, all the southern cities down in Atlanta is definitely one of my favorites. So I am thrilled. Well, at least you're on the East Coast, because many of my guests call in from the West Coast. And it's 3:00 in the morning their time when they call.
Exactly.
So at least you were still on the same time zone with me.
Yeah, it worked out great, man. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, Mark. This is great, man. We're just excited about you. We're going to continue to promote you too on our network as well. So I'll be looking out for that, and I'm just excited about what you're doing as well, my friend. God is an awesome God.
Yes, He is.
I'm just glad I lived long enough to figure some of this out,
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I really am. And yeah, God is an awesome God, and I am just so glad that we have the privilege and the unique opportunity to do what we do. Because the DJs that come in behind me and everything, like, we don't get paid for this. This is not a paid gig. This is strictly, I hate to call it a hobby, but at the same time, it is such a unique opportunity that when you tell people that you're on the radio, they're like, you're on the what? You're on the radio? Right. Yes, I'm a radio show host. But it is a unique opportunity that I am so grateful to God for. And I have met over the years, because I've been on the air 14 years. Over the years, Kevin, I have met some wonderful people.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have, Mark. It's an honor, man. What's nice is that, too, you don't have to fly them in either,
That's right. We can do it by...
The farthest person we had call in from Australia, Mark, on another network, but when we was doing AM radio in Atlanta, we had a lady calling from Australia.
Wow.
What was so exciting about that, we were laughing like crazy because she was already, I think it was a Saturday? No, it was a Monday. Yeah, it was a Monday show we did, but she was already in the Tuesday.
In the Tuesday, right.
We were talking to the future, man. I said, man, that was powerful. We started cracking up. It hit me all of a sudden. We're talking to the future. We're not even there yet.
That's right. That's right. We're already talking to tomorrow. That's right.
That's something, man. I said, man, we just laughed about that, man, because we were just so excited how that works.
I know that's right. Man. Well, again, I thank you for rising early. The next segment, in between now and 9 o'clock, I'll be playing the gospel music. So I put on the good news and song. The first hour or so, I do the interviews in terms of the books and so forth. But then the last 2 hours, my format is the gospel music. So we put that out there and let folks hear the good news and song.
Yes, exactly. That's great, Mark. Yeah, we just want to give you blessings on you and your family, my friend, and give your mother our love, too, as well, from our network. And let's keep it going. Can't wait to have you on the Men Let's Talk Network as well. We'll be calling you about that. We'll have
All
to
right.
interview you.
I'll be glad to be on. I'll be glad to be a part. I'll be honored to be a part of it. Well, I tell you what, you have a wonderfully blessed day and week, and the same to your family and all of your endeavors as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Marc Medley. Thank you so much. Have a great day, my friend.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you. Same
Take care. All right, well, that wraps up our edition of the Reading Circle with Marc Medley. We're going to go right on into, after I share this information with you, we're going to go right on into the gospel music.